Greetings and salutations to anyone taking the time out of their day to watch my videos. I've got a day to spare here before Thanksgiving comes to the United States, so I figured I would do something a bit bigger. So today we're going to take a trip into space. Yes, I'm reviewing Jaden Yuki's Neo-Spacians from Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. Apparently, Jaden himself created these cards. I'm not sure how that works, but they were supposed to be something to supplement his heroes. Anyway, this might end up being a bit cramped, but hopefully it'll make the video more worth watching, and it'll save me time in the future to avoid making a video for each individual card, since that would just be more long and drawn out than this ends up being. So let's get right down to it. Leading the pack is Woody the Woodpecker. Neo-Spacian Air Hummingbird can gain life points once per turn, equal to 500 times the number of cards in your opponent's hand. Needless to say, this guy is rather incredible the first turn, but highly mediocre after that, considering this is a game where people largely consider life points to be irrelevant. This card doesn't have much merit. It is, however, compatible with things like Icarus attack, so it does have some redeeming traits about it. It's also a wind and works with the appropriate wind support. It's not something I'd go to right away, but whatever. Next up is Aqua Dolphin. He makes interesting one-for-ones. You discard a card, look at your opponent's hand, select a monster there, and then if you control a monster with higher attack, you destroy that monster in their hand. Not many cards actually destroy monsters while they're in the hand, which is what's so interesting about this guy. Oddly enough, he's a warrior. Why he is not a fish, I'm not sure. Yeah, I know, dolphins aren't fish, they're mammals. Still, it's a bit strange considering we've had dolphins be fish before in this game. Anyway, he's compatible with water support, being of the water attribute, mainly Moray of Greed that we recently received in Stardust Overdrive. There are other water support cards, but I don't think any of them are as prevalent as that. Next in line is Dark Panther. I've been really tempted to somehow recolor this guy and make him pink, just for the reference to the Pink Panther. If anyone remembers that guy, anyway. Anyway, moving on. This guy has seen play in many past formats, even if only in the side deck. Its effect allows you to copy the name and effect of one monster your opponent controls until the end of the turn. This has allowed for major swings by mimicking power cards. You either mimic a Dark-Armed Dragon, start blowing things up, mimic Judgment Dragon, blow up the entire field, copy a Gladiator Beast, then steal another and proceed to Contact Fuse for Geyserus or Heraclinos. That was its main use in the past, in tandem with the 2 rescue cats we were allowed at the time. Since it's dark and it's a beast with 1,000 attack, it's compatible with a wide array of cards. Allure Food, Chaos Food. We still have that one rescue cat we can use to pull him out. He punishes some very common cards people play, such as Chaos Sorcerer, Tragodia, which is starting to see more play. So, yeah, definitely give this guy a chance. Next is Neo-Spacian Flare Scarab. He's fire, he's an insect, he gains attack for every spell and trap your opponent controls. Just too underwhelming, in my opinion, but he does get points for being an insect. You can dump him with whatever, remove him for insect neglect. It's not so bad in that light, I guess. Low attack means it's compatible with stuff like Debris Dragon. After that we have Glow Moss. Now this is very underrated. It's a light plant with 0 attack, so it's compatible with many cards. It's Chaos Food. It can be fed to Black Rose Dragon to use her second effect, which doesn't see much play despite being very powerful in its own light. This thing can be revived any number of ways, so Even though its effect is not actually useful, it has good properties to be abused in tandem with other cards. And then last in line with the Neo-Spacians themselves is Grand Mole. Now, we know this guy has always been a powerful tech card. He punishes defense, synchros, fusions. He's compatible with many good cards, such as Giant Rat. He fits beautifully in stun decks, mainly Rock Stun, in tandem with Kawakimeru Guardian and Legendary Jiu-Jitsu Master. We know this guy is good. He's limited for a reason. Moving on, to support the Neo-Spacians, we have Cross Porter. He's basically the glue that ties the theme together. He's a Dark Warrior, and when he's sent to the graveyard, you can add a Neo-Spacian from your deck to the hand, so it turns things like Armageddon Knight into a +1. Effectively a mini Stratos. You can set Cross Porter if you need to, and it floats, replaces itself. You can remove it for a lure if you have to. It's also got low stats, so it's compatible with junk, debris, things like Limit Reverse, which, by the way, all the Neo-Spacians are also compatible with. He's got another effect. You can send one monster you control to the graveyard to summon a Neo-Spacian from your hand, but you're not going to use that very often. Especially since if you send him Cross Porter itself to the graveyard, you're going to miss the timing to activate the effect that you're really using it for. Then they've got some support spells. None of them are very great, except for, obviously, the draw cards. Neo-Spacians have some of the best draw cards ever printed. First of all, we've got Space Gift. Draw one card for every Neo-Spacian you control with a different name. It generally makes an even trade, although if you can somehow swarm Neo-Spacians, either themselves or via Prisma, copying names, you can get pluses off of it. It's not a bad card. Not something I would generally use, but it's okay. Now, the real power card that makes them a crazy engine is Convert Contact. If you control no monsters, you can activate it, send one Neo-Spacian from your hand and one from your deck to the graveyard to draw 2 cards. Now, this thing is insane. It thins your deck out, gives you new cards by dumping old dead ones. It sets up combos such as Chaos. It loads your deck grave with dark monsters, such as for Dark Armed Dragon, and basically that is what makes Neo-Spacians a powerful engine. Do note that Convert Contact does not have a cost. Sending off the Neo-Spacians is part of the effect, so you cannot bypass this with something like Destiny Hero Diamond Dude, and you also will not pay anything if it gets negated, because not a cost. Now, the main flaw with Neo-Spacians as an engine in general is that, considering all the cards you need to run, they're going to take up 10 or more slots in your deck to run smoothly. So it's potentially a quarter to half of your deck just for the sake of having an engine. Now, this is not necessarily bad. It does have its places in Junk and Debris variants mainly, since Junk and Debris can just use them as synchro fodder most of the time. I'm not sure about potential of the Neo-Spacian elsewhere, honestly, but they probably do have their places that I'm not seeing right now. I'm starting to run low on time here, so I'm going to take this opportunity to plug my trade thread again. I need a second copy of Ultimate Rare Dark Panther, and I also need a third copy of Convert Contact pretty badly. So if anyone's willing to help me out in that respect, I would greatly appreciate it. And I guess that's about it. Do consider trying to use the Neo-Spacians. Bye!